Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy E2 Blue coming back at you again, and it's been a long day for me. Long day, tired. I'm mentally and physically beat up. But hey, I'm still here doing these videos for you guys. So, if you guys haven't heard, breaking news: the Pro Bowl rosters just came out. So the Cowboys have 5 players in the Pro Bowl. Ezekiel Elliott is going to be his first year going without Dak. DeMarcus Lawrence, well deserved. And of course the usuals, Tyron Smith and Zach Martin, they are going to the Pro Bowl as well. Even, they may opt out because of their injuries, but you never know. Or if the Cowboys somehow go to the Super Bowl, but we're so far away from that right now. Oh, and last but not least, Byron Jones made his first Pro Bowl. And the first year he switched from safety to cornerback. So his first year at cornerback, making it into the Pro Bowl. So hand clap to him for that. These guys, well deserved, well deserved. I think that I wish Leighton Vander Esch had a chance to go, but he had an uphill battle because in the linebacker position, they measured on a lot of different things. And we play a 4-3 scheme. And in a 4-3 scheme, our linebackers don't rush the passer like that, so they don't get an opportunity to get a lot of sacks or to in that nature. Their only bet to get in is to keep getting tackles and interceptions. Now he does have 2 interceptions and he has a lot of tackles. He may be an alternate, who knows? We'll see what happens with that when we find out who the alternates are, because people are going to drop out because they may be going to Super Bowl or because of injuries or things of that nature. So look out for that. But again, they got the right 5. I agree with all these 5. I wish we had more in there, but it is what it is. On to some other news. So what I really wanted to talk about is this team's philosophy right now with everything that's going on with the coaching, the players, the up and down season. So let's recap this season. We have been on an emotional roller coaster with these Dallas Cowboys, and some of you guys jumped off of the roller coaster and killed yourself. Some of you guys are still on it. Some people are hanging on by a hairline. But I look at it like this, and I will say this all the time, and you guys already know it is so hard to be a Dallas Cowboy fan because, with the scrutiny outside of the team and everything that's going on, it's almost like it's a bias against the Dallas Cowboys. Every time you turn around, it's something going on, and we're the face of it. Even if we ain't got nothing to do with it, we're still talked about. For us to be the most hated team in the league, we're one of the most talked about. I tell you that. Everybody loves to see the Cowboys fail. So whenever we lose, you see the cockroaches come out of they hiding spots, and they out here looking for blood and then they'll go run and hide again. As soon as we start winning, they disappear. Where were these guys on our 5-game winning streak? I ain't seen none of these trolls on my channel, but it is what it is. Like I said, I ain't gonna let them steal my joy. I ain't gonna let them steal my joy. But anyway, so everybody, and I know that every fan, including me, wants Scott Linehan gone and or Jason Garrett. Now, let's talk about Linehan a little bit and his effect on this team, positive and or negative. So let's go back to the beginning of the season. We come into the off season. We have these, or as a lot of people like to say, all these no-name wide receivers we had on the team. We got rid of Dez Bryant. We got rid of Orlando Scandrick. You bring Allen Hurns in. You don't have a legit #1 receiver. The coaching staff says, hey, we don't need a #1 receiver because Dak plays better when he spreads the ball out. Which, has some validity to it. But again, if you're not calling the right plays to those aspects, then you have nothing. Now, there's more than one thing that makes a team work. Again, football is the ultimate team sport. I think that there are a lot of people at fault for the up and down and the downfalls of the Dallas Cowboys. Coaching is one. Player execution is another. The refs ain't going to do you no favors. You look at it like this. When you look at an offensive line and you look at a game, you can pretty much call a flag on almost every play in the game. You look at coaches from other teams, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but refs look at film too. Refs look at film, and they see these players that they think that commit penalties all the time, and they watch them more than others. And you already know, Cowboys under a microscope all the time. They're going to look at our players all day, every day. Now, I know some of you might be down on Tyron Smith, but I'm going to tell you, his injuries, are his Achilles heel right now. It ain't that he forgot how to play football. He's literally playing on one arm right now. But at the end of the day, even as good as Tyron Smith is, I know that I'd rather have a one-armed Tyron Smith than some of these other bums that's out here. You look in that game, we had some unfortunate things happen. Xavier Sulo-Filo injures his eye, goes back, and and I don't know if you guys seen his eye, but that thing was pussy and it was just weird looking, and they didn't even have an eye doctor on the premises to even help him out. They had to get the Indianapolis Colts doctor to come over there and look at him, and he was like, "Ooh, go ahead and take him to the hospital because I don't have, even me, I don't even have a specialty to deal with that." So they send him to the hospital. They get Redmond in there. Mind you, Redmond don't play that much. And the thing about offensive line, they have to work as one unit. And when you plug in people in and out, it's hard to get cohesiveness with these guys if they're not playing together on a consistent basis, which makes a lot of sense. Now, Redmond was like a turnstile in that game. People was blowing by him. Tyron Smith was holding because, his injury. Even Looney got a couple of penalties, even though Looney has been solid for us. I mean, these guys just had a bad game. Connor Williams needs to learn better leverage. He's a rookie, so he's going to take some time. In the offseason, he could bulk up, get to the position that he needs to be. And guess what? We're just going to have to draft some more offensive linemen. That whole next man up mentality works. But when that next man is not meant to be in that game. So you're going to have some deficiencies. These other teams and their defensive linemen, they're going to take advantage of you every time. So there's a lot of factors that play into wins and losses. The defense, even though they didn't play that well, they still held the team to what? 23 points? Normally, when you hold a team to that, our offense should have been able to come back and score and beat that team. Because didn't last week, when we played the Eagles, they scored 23 points, and we scored in overtime and beat them. So again, if you're holding a team to 23 points or less than 20 points a game, you should be winning it. That means that you're doing a good job on defense. Granted, the defense didn't do well that game. They came in super confident, too confident in my mind. They came off the bus with their Hot Boys hard hats, and I'm not going to say that they weren't focused, but it was more so of, we got this. And I'm not going to say a loss is good, but like I said before, sometimes when you get your ass whooped, you gotta go back to square one. You gotta go back to the drawing board and be like, woo, we got our butts whooped out there. We need to figure something out. So you figure it out, and you go back and you get better. You go to practice, and you figure out what went wrong in that game, and you fix it. Now I'm gonna tell you one thing about this game coming up. You have a good opportunity to beat Tampa Bay this week, and you better, because I'm gonna tell you right now, if you don't beat Tampa Bay, and these other teams in the division win again this week, you're going to be in trouble. Because now you have to rely on beating the Giants. And I'm going to tell you right now, the Giants are going to love it if we lose to Tampa Bay. You want to know why? Because they're going to be like, ooh, we get to control your fates for the playoffs now. So the Giants, they're going to be in full attendance if it comes down to that. And you don't want it to come down. You want to make sure that you take care of Tampa Bay this week so you don't have to worry about the Giants. What was the analogy that I used in my live stream? I said, if you do your homework when you get out of school and not procrastinate, you don't have to do it later at the last minute. So because they didn't do their homework, meaning beat the Colts, now they got to do it this week. And if you don't do it this week, the finals coming up right there at the Giants. And you get to the Giants and you drop a goose egg to the Giants because the Giants going to be ready. Saquon Barkley going to be like, ooh, I'm going to run. I'm going to run all over y'all. Oh, we get to control y'all fate? As far as y'all playoff hopes? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And at the end of the day, they're going to take advantage of that. So you better do your due diligence. You better beat Tampa Bay this week because you're going to be in trouble. You better beat Tampa Bay this week. Period. So, back to Linehan. Now, I would admit this game, a lot of it was player execution. Dak didn't have a good game. This whole offense didn't have a good game. Some of the receivers stopped on routes. I went back and watched some of the game. And, you know, I do this all the time just so I can, you know, talk about these things and try to figure out what happened. Now, I don't like giving Linehan props ever, but I will say that sometimes he does call good plays. But the problem is the plays that he's calling, not saying that Dak can't execute it, but it's not the right play for Dak, if you understand what I'm saying. So let me put it in perspective. You know that he was a former coach for the Rams. You know that he was the offensive coordinator for the Lions. Who was his quarterback with the Lions? Matt Stafford. Who was also there when he was there? Megatron. Linehan, in my opinion, is not a great coach, an offensive coordinator for Dak Prescott, because he's not a coordinator that can create plays for a young guy, a young mobile quarterback. He is the type of coordinator that is good for a in-the-pocket type of quarterback, a veteran guy, somebody that knows exactly how to read defenses, somebody that's been in this league long enough to know different ways to throw the balls to different receivers. Dak is still learning that. You understand? So this is the reason why I'm not going to keep saying, like some of you trolls are talking about, oh, Dak sucks, Dak this. Dak is still learning. Dak is a 4th-round pick. Dak was not a 1st-round pick for a reason, because he had deficiencies. He had issues with his mechanics that he needed to work on, so on and so forth. But they can. The thing about Dak, it's not like he's a player that, like, oh, he can't be fixed. With the right coaching, I guarantee you he would be a much better quarterback. And I'm saying this because I've seen him in college. I've seen what he can do. I've seen him do better than what he's doing right now. So, as a coach, as a coordinator, if you see that it's not working for your quarterback, why don't you change things up? When he was a coordinator for Matt Stafford had his issues too. But at the same time, Matt Stafford was a veteran quarterback. He was a gunslinger. He was a different type of way different type of quarterback than Dak Prescott. So the plays that you're calling for Stafford that work are not necessarily going to work for Dak Prescott. It's a whole different scheme. It's a whole different quarterback. It's a whole different way that he even throws the ball. So, as I digress, our coaching staff is not good at developing young talent. They cannot develop these young guys. You look at the quarterbacks that we get in here, they can't bust a grape. We had veterans come in here. Brandon Weeden, Matt Castle, Kyle Orton. Kyle Orton did a little bit of something because Tony Romo was here. But again, the latter guys didn't even win a game for real. But then Brandon Weeden goes to the Texans and takes them to the playoffs that year. What? And I believe Brandon Weeden is still the backup with the Texans. We don't know what to do with talent. We go into these games with a specific game plan, but at halftime when things fall apart, we don't know how to adjust. Because when we come back third quarter, we're doing the same exact things that we did in the first quarter that did not work. And then what happens? We lose. We fall flat on our face. And it just gives Stephen A. Smith more to talk about. And or Shannon Sharp. So, as I digress. Now you have defenses coming here. And defensive coordinators, when they scheme, they're like, we know what the Cowboys are going to do. They do the same thing over and over again. It's not a coincidence that Bryce Butler, Des Bryant, Allen Hurns, and now Amari Cooper have all criticized the play calling on this team. So you're going to sit here and tell me that it's not the coaching? When you have not one, not two, not three, but four receivers that say the same thing. That's not a coincidence, y'all. Our offense is bland. In my opinion, for real, the way I feel sometimes, throw the whole damn playbook out and start from scratch. Build it up with Dak Prescott. This is the reason why I kept saying I want a collegiate guy in here. Get Lincoln Riley in here. Urban Meyer just retired. Get him right out of retirement. Get him to come back, which I doubt he would do. Get somebody in here. Somebody that knows how to deal with young, developmental, mobile quarterbacks. Guys that have great potential. And Dak, the one thing I love about Dak is his leadership qualities. It's there. It's there. But you could tell that sometimes he plays with no confidence. You want to know why? Because Linehan is telling him not to do this, but to do this. You want to know how I know? I mentioned this before, and I need y'all to understand. We've seen Dak move around in the pocket and run and move. How come all of a sudden now he's not running like he forgot how to run? It's not that he don't want to run. It's because that's not what he's told to do right now. Linehan's saying basically, I don't want you to run. I need you good for this playoff push. I don't need you getting hurt. I want us to win. The homie DMV Dallas Cowboys. What up, John? He did a video on is Linehan sabotaging Dak Prescott. There might be some validity in that. But I'm bringing it to it in a slightly different angle right now. I think that he's trying to cover his butt, but at the same time, they're stubborn. Both him and Jason Garrett. Now, these players, the good thing about this situation is it's not dire to the point that the players are still playing for this team. They're still playing for each other, and they're still playing for Coach Garrett. At least Garrett is getting to them with his philosophy alone. That's the only thing I really like about what he's doing right now. Everything else, see, Jason Garrett, like I said, he's a through-the-week quarterback. He's a Monday through Saturday coach. Once game time come on Sunday or whenever we're playing, he lets his coordinators take over. I don't completely hate that. I'm just saying that, you know, that's how it was done in the old days. You know that Jason Garrett comes from a coaching background. He comes from a heavy football background. So these are the things that he learned growing up. And these are things that he saw from what his dad did when his dad was coaching. Rest in peace to his father, Garrett. But I look at it like this. Something's got to give. Because this is embarrassing watching my Cowboys play. And first of all, let me know how y'all feel about this. How many times have you watched a game when we're not playing a Sunday night, that we're not playing a Monday or a Thursday night, and you just sitting in the house with your family and you're watching another team play, and you're looking at some of the screens, you're looking at some of the hitch routes, you're looking at some of the things that they're doing, right? And you're like, why can't we do that on offense? It's not like we don't have the personnel to do it. We have the damn personnel to do it. Just do it. It's not rocket science. You don't need to be a genius at the X's and O's to know this. You just have to be a lover of football to even figure this out. You can watch the games. All you got to do is sit down and watch 5 games of Dallas Cowboys. Shit, not even 5 games. 2 of them. You know their tendencies. Not every team has tendencies. But we're just way too predictable. Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, and Ezekiel Elliott cannot be the only moving, functioning players on your offense because they can be shut down. Dak is the most sacked quarterback this season. And I know that we have deficiencies on our offensive line because of injuries. I get that. But you look at that and you're like, you're not going to put a tight end over there to help block coverage. You're not going to move Jameis Olawale around. And even in the game, they try to throw a touchdown pass to Olawale. That was a design that they finally incorporated Olawale. Do it more, because Olawale can actually catch. I know they practiced that all week, and I know they were getting it all week, which is the reason why they did it in the game. Because the Cowboys don't do anything that they don't practice. They're not that creative. Trust me, I'm telling you that right now. They don't do any flea flicker type of stuff without having already planned on doing it in the game. That's just the way that this conservative team is run right now. Look. You look at that touchdown to Jameis Olawale that he didn't catch. Guess who was in the back of the end zone wide the fuck open? I'm sorry for my language. Excuse me. I'm just a little frustrated right now. Blake Jarwin was open in the back of the end zone. But guess what? Linehan told him specifically to give it to the fullback on this play because he's going to be open. Yeah, he was open. But for whatever reason, the throw wasn't right and the catch wasn't right. It was miscommunication. Yet again. That part, yes, I agree. Player execution. But at what point do you not let Dak Prescott be Dak Prescott? Maybe DMV Dallas Cowboys is right when he says that it's sabotage. Maybe Linehan is just like, I don't want Dak to be the quarterback of this team. We don't know. We don't know what the issue is. But if you want your quarterback to succeed, if you want to win games as a coach, why are you not doing things to help your quarterback be better? That's all I'm saying. We know what Dak's deficiencies are. We know what his issues are. We can talk about that all day. But his issues can be worked on. But when you have a coach that's so conservative and he's pinning things back and not allowing it to open up, what happens when you let Dak be Dak? What happened to the hurry-up offense? The no huddle. All that. We don't do that no more. We stopped doing that. I haven't seen it in the last couple of games. You got Dak out here playing scared and seeing ghosts. Because he knows that his offensive line been holding. Every time he tries to do something, it gets called back. It's like, all of that is not Dak's fault. I mean, the offensive linemen, poor guys, the backups, they holding because they don't want Dak to get crushed. Because they know they got beat. But something's got to give, y'all. We got to figure it out. We got to get some protection up front. Get them tight ends in there. Oh, I'm sorry. Most importantly, this coaching staff does not trust the players. You don't trust your players. So if you don't trust your players, why are you coaching this team? Or why do you even have these players on the team? Cut them all and start over. Is that what you want to do? Something's not right here. These are the players that you chose in the offseason to be your 53-man roster. If that was the case, you could have went in the offseason in free agency and got a tight end. Because there were some available before. Hell, go get Martellus Bennett out of retirement. If that's what you want to do. Do something. If you don't trust what you have, but you should trust what you have. Because I'll be honest with you, Schultz and Darwin, they're not bad tight ends. Give them an opportunity. If a player knows that a coach has no faith in him, that ruins their confidence, especially if they're a young player. Think about it. Put yourself in their shoes. This is your first time in the pros. You're not getting any play time. You're going to feel some type of way mentally. You're human. That's human. That's human nature. You're going to be sad because you're not in the game. And your confidence is going to be low because you weren't able to do anything. When you start doing something and you start feeling better about yourself, that's what happened on this 5-game winning streak. And that's why they got beat, because they got too confident. Now, you don't want to get too confident. You want to be just right. You want to be right here where it's like every game matters. And you got to go in there and fight your hardest every day to get that W. That's it. It's no secret recipe to it. Just do your job. Players, coaches, all alike. And I'm going to tell you straight up, you don't trust your players. Well, we know you don't trust Rico Gathers because you don't even give him the ball. You just got him playing the H position and just blocking all day. Put that big bastard in the flat and let him catch the ball. Come on. Let's not be stupid, y'all. It's fundamentals. You're seeing these other teams doing more with less, and we're sitting here with 5 Pro Bowlers, and y'all ain't doing nothing. You're just wasting it. This is why players from other teams and other fans of other teams and stuff say that the Cowboys choke. And you know what? I understand why they say it. Now, I'm never going to admit to that because I love my team. And yeah, I might be biased because I love my Cowboys. But at the end of the day, these coaches got to do their job to put these players in a position to win. You're not going to win every game. You're not. But you're supposed to win a game. You're supposed to win. Now, I got to give the Colts a lot of credit. Andrew Luck is one hell of a player. He's got that young offensive line now running. They're playing like the Cowboys did when they first got their Great Wall of Dallas 2.0. Quentin Nelson is playing his butt off over there, and I got to give him a hand clap for that. But they wanted that game more than we did. And that's the bottom line. That's why they won. It's the will to win. And we didn't come in with the will. We came in with the hard hats and said, we the hot boys. If you don't focus on that game, I don't give a damn about no hot boys until you prove that you are a hot boy by winning. Win. The way you got annihilated by their offensive line, disgusting. And I'm not going to talk about the Colts no more. I'm done with it. But what I will say is, Linehan is not good for Dak Prescott. And that's my whole argument in this video. Cowboys going to have to make a decision in this offseason. Whether we even still make it to the playoffs or not. Or we get out in the first round. Either or. They need to get another coordinator in here. Because what's going to happen is you're going to keep having these up and down seasons. And I know some fans will tell you, I'd rather us lose out. That way somebody gets fired. Look, I want them fired regardless if we win or lose. So that's the bottom line. You got offensive coordinators all around the league getting cut. And I think a lot of them are even better than what we have. So it's all about what you can deal with. But me personally, if I was a coach for a team, if I was a coordinator, I would definitely play the strengths of my quarterback. If you see what you're doing is not working, why are you continuing to do it? Jason Garrett is allowing this crap to happen. Linehan is still doing it. Stop with the BS. Stop with the conservativeness. Stop it. So is Linehan sabotaging Dak Prescott? The world may never know. But what I will say before I end this video, and what I do know is, he definitely is not the coach for Dak Prescott. Go ahead and put him on a team with an established veteran that knows how to read defenses very well and knows his receivers very well. Dak is still learning his receivers. And Kellen Moore is not cutting it as a quarterback's coach. You need both of those positions to be filled by people that are capable of dealing with a young, developing quarterback like Dak Prescott. Because what's going to happen is, if you keep doing it this way, you're going to ruin that boy's career, and you're going to crush his little confidence, and he's going to be out of this league. And it's going to be a shame, because it was a young guy that had so much potential that you just wasted. And if you keep doing this, the Cowboys would never win a Super Bowl again if they keep doing it like this. And that's why I'm pissed off. I want to see my team succeed. I want to see my team win. But we got to do better than this. Period. And it starts this week with Tampa Bay. Go in there, win that game, and clinch the damn division and move on to the playoffs. Let's go, Cowboys. Thanks again to all my subscribers. I appreciate you guys. This is your boy E2 Blue, always keeping it real. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Have a great evening.